The purpose of the video is to introduce how instructional designers can use cognitive load theory to help create instruction. One of the most important aspects of any e-learning course design is to ensure that the information being offered is not only understood by the learner, but they are also able to retain the information for future use. Successful instructional designers must always be aware of the learning techniques being utilized, the amount of data included, and the structure in which the knowledge has been distilled and then dispersed. Things to keep in mind when designing. Number one is you can reduce the amount of load that is being placed upon the learner's working memory by integrating the various sources of information rather than giving them the various sources individually. Number two is the tasks or lessons that require problem-solving skills. Avoid using activities that require a means and approach, as it will place a load upon the working memory. Instead, use goal-free problems. For example, illustrate to the point. Number three is reduce the amount of redundancy in e-learning course design in order to reduce the amount of unnecessary repetition induced loads that are put upon the working memory. Use visual and auditory instruction techniques to increase the learner's working memory capacity, particularly in situations where both types of instruction are required. Work example effect. What it is, it's seen work examples in a solution can help students learn how to solve problems or more effectively than simply providing problems to solve. The theoretical mechanism would be to decrease the extraneous cognitive load by reducing the unnecessary elements interactively. And an example of this practice would be a student learning multiple step math may be provided with a worked example on how to solve the problem. So if you notice that in the example, you've got how to solve it, and then they also give the instruction on how to solve each step. Another item is split attention effect. What is it? It's important information should be presented to it in an integrated format rather than separately. Spatial visual information should be together. For an example, labels on a diagram rather than legends on the side. Temporal, which is relevant visual and auditory information, should be presented at the same time. The theoretical mechanism would be to reduce extraneous cognitive load by decreasing element integrity. And then an example of that practice would be when you're using a diagram, such as the picture that's off to the left of the heart with labeled parts, rather than numbering important components and providing the label titles in the legend. So the label titles should be directly on the diagram, and you should see that in the various portions of the heart. Thank you very much.